And for the rest of my life, I realized that you can accomplish anything if you just don't quit. You don't quit. No matter what it is, you make a decision in advance that you will never quit. And no matter how discouraged you become or tired or broke, is you pick yourself up and you never quit. The one thing is, once you start off toward your goal, never quit. If you want to be financially successful, that's your goal. Never quit. And remember that nothing works the first time. And sometimes it doesn't work the second time or the third time or the fourth time. But eventually, if it's the right thing, it will work. It will work and it will change your life forever.
I want you to share one life-defining moment which changed the whole course of your life.
Well, when I was 18, 19 years old, I decided I would go and see the world. Now, it's an interesting discovery, but if you read about people who travel, or if you read about poets, or if you read about business people, you start to become like them. So when I was young, I used to read stories about people who had traveled and had adventures. So I decided I would go and see the world. And at the age of 19 and 20, I set off to travel from Vancouver, British Columbia, to Johannesburg in South Africa. It was 17,000 miles, 17,000 miles. And two friends of mine and I had an old car, and we started off and we drove across Canada. It was about 5,000 kilometers, 3,000 miles. And then I worked on a ship to get across, because I heard about people who worked on a ship.
Sure.
So I went to the harbor and I went to the ships. I went to every single ship in the harbor, and everyone said no, no, no. And it's now late. It's 6, 7 o'clock at night. It's the middle of the winter, and I'm tired, and I'm cold, and I'm hungry, and I have very little money. And I was staying at the YMCA, a little room. And I went back to the YMCA, and from the YMCA, I still remember I could see all the way down to the harbor. There was a ship on a separate dock that I had not seen before. Okay. And here was the YMCA, and it was warm, and it was bright, and it had food, and it was beautiful. And here it was cold and snow and rain, and then there was this ship, and it was a mile away, and I had a choice. Do I go into that YMCA where it's nice and warm, or do I go to that one last ship in the harbor? I've been to every single ship, and what I did is I just put on my jacket and I walked all the way down to the ship. And there were two ships, actually. I went to the first ship and I said, I'm looking for work to go across the Atlantic. They said, no, we're not going to the Atlantic. We're going to the East Coast. So I went to the last ship, and I said, I'm looking for a job. They said, well, come in. And so I went in, and they said, what can you do? I said, I will do anything. He said, well, if you're willing to do anything, I have a job for you. And our ship is leaving. This is now 6 o'clock at night. He said, our ship is leaving at 8 o'clock. If you can be on the ship, then you can travel with us across the Atlantic. And so I ran back to the YMCA up the hill, and I got all my stuff, and I got a taxi, which is a really big luxury for me. Got a taxi and went back down to the ship. I got on the ship, and the ship sailed out. And I can still remember sitting on this ship as the ship sailed out into the ocean, and the city of Halifax disappeared over the horizon. And for the rest of my life, I realized that you can accomplish anything if you just don't quit. You don't quit. No matter what it is, you make a decision in advance that you will never quit. And no matter how discouraged you become, or tired or broke, is you pick yourself up and you never quit. And you know something? I've read hundreds, thousands of books on success, and every one of them says the key is don't quit. So I've traveled all the way across the Atlantic, all the way across Europe, all the way across Africa and the Sahara Desert, 17,000 miles. And I finally got to Johannesburg. It took 9 months. And,
wow.
But after that, I've traveled all over the world. I've traveled in now 125 countries. I've traveled everywhere. And the one thing is, once you start off towards your goal, never quit. If you want to be financially successful, that's your goal. Never quit. Uh, Pick a field, pick somebody who's successful, ask them for their advice, read their books, go to their courses, become hungry to learn success principles, and then practice the success principles. And remember that nothing works the first time. And sometimes it doesn't work the second time or the third time or the fourth time. But eventually, if it's the right thing, it will work. It will work and it will change your life forever.
Thank you, Brian, for all the people who are watching and listening to this. This is words of wisdom from a 76-year-old, very young soul. I know his heart. He's an amazing human being. For people who are watching, I want you guys to comment here and share this because I want this message to go to the world. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that.